The goal of this video is to show how you can emulate a restaurant-worthy Korean barbecue experience at your own crib. Of course, Korean barbecue, or KBBQ as it's referred to here in the United States, being the classic Korean style of eating that includes side dishes called banchans, a plethora of meats, and booze. Lots of booze. So hopefully by the time I'm done flapping my lips, you'll have a better understanding of what goes into Korean barbecue, its components, the food involved, and how you can create a fun, different dining experience for your friends, family, and dog. Or cat. Or animal. Or just pets. Lastly, I would like to apologize in advance to my Korean audience. I don't speak Korean, I only know a few words, so, I'm doing my best here. And yeah, I think I covered it. I'll shut up now. Let's get to queuing. To those of you who aren't familiar with Korean barbecue, it's a very communal affair. It's eaten at a table, usually with a grill in the middle and small plates scattered about. There are a bunch of moving pieces that make up Korean barbecue, so I decided to break the video up into categories. Let's first start with le meat. Well, actually, first the marinade. Not all meats at Korean barbecue are marinated, however, what we're going to make is. This is my marinade for beef short ribs, or in Korean, called kalbi. And don't worry, we'll talk more in depth about the meat in the next section in the video. My kalbi marinated uses peeled apple, onion, garlic, ginger, brown sugar, sesame oil, soy sauce, black pepper, and rice wine vinegar. If you're cooking along, the exact measurements for all this can be found in the description. Simply blitz all the ingredients in a blender until we get a semi-smooth puree. Once pureed, all we need to do is pour the mixture over the kalbi and let it sit anywhere from 2 hours to overnight if you have the time. Which moves us right along to the proteins. Just like barbecue here in the States, Korean barbecue isn't exclusive to one meat. Depending on the restaurant, one can order anything from beef or pork to things like chicken or even squid and other seafood. For the sake of this video, I've chosen my 2 favorite proteins to eat at Korean barbecue. First, we have our LA style kalbi, aka beef short ribs. LA style kalbi is simply short ribs cut flanken style. Depending on where you live, you could be used to English-style short ribs, where the chunk of meat sits atop a single bone. Flanken-style short ribs are a lot more popular now, but if you can't find them anywhere, a decent butcher should be able to trim some up for you for sure. One theory on how LA Kalbi got its name is when Korean immigrants living in Los Angeles began cooking with Flanken-style short ribs that were easily found at most Mexican grocery stores in the area. Another is that LA stands for lateral cut, but you can believe what you want. The second protein in our lineup is thinly sliced brisket, or chattolbegi. I really hope I didn't butcher that. As stated, chattolbegi is super thin and generally isn't marinated. Because of its thinness, chattolbegi cooks very fast and tends to get pretty crispy. If you haven't noticed, both of these cuts, short ribs and brisket, are both considered to be tough cuts, meaning that they usually take a long time over low heat to become tender and pleasant to eat. This is actually a good lesson in how the way you cut a protein can affect how it cooks. Because of the way that these boys are cut and butchered, they cook up exquisitely and quickly over the high heat on the grill. And if beef isn't your jam, try looking for pork belly. It's inexpensive, accessible, and insanely bomb. Just be sure to slice it thin and against the grain so it cooks up properly. At KBBQ, it's common to wrap the meat in your vessel of choice, maybe with a little sauce, banchan, or some rice in the middle. A sam is any food wrapped in leaves, seaweed, or vegetables. We'll touch more on how to make a sam in a bit, but for now let's talk about the sam wrappers, or as I like to call them, the vessels. One of my favorite sam wrappers is pickled Korean radish. To make this, simply peel and slice a Korean or daikon radish thinly with a knife or a mandolin. Then we're just gonna bring a quick pickling liquid up to a simmer and pour the mixture over the radish. Bam, pickled radish wrappers. Recipe and description. Another popular vessel of choice at Korean barbecue includes the perilla leaf. Perilla leaf is commonly mistaken for a sesame leaf, but biologically it's closer related to mint. Perilla leaf is super aromatic and can be picked up at most Korean markets. Other vessel options include red leaf lettuce or just good old romaine. These last 2 vessels are great options because the watery crunch is a refreshing way to break up the, other spicy, fatty, meaty flavors going on. And of course, you can't have Korean barbecue without white rice. Some people prefer their rice after the meal so that they don't get full, others opt for during. I'm definitely part of the eats rice during meal camp, but it's your call, do what you want. And I've used this exact rice cooker to make rice since I was a little kid. To make rice in a cooker, rinse the rice until the water runs clear. This keeps the rice from being too sticky. Then fill the container with a finger's joint worth of water. From here, pop the whole deal back in the cooker, click go, and go live your life until the timer beeps. Very technical, I know, but it works every time, trust me. Okay, side dishes. All good Korean barbecue needs proper accoutrement. Enter banchan. Banchan are served alongside most Korean meals. In this case, banchan are the small plates that fill in the gaps on the table at barbecue. Such things include spicy pickles, assorted kimchi, savory pancakes made from seafood or kimchi, cold salads, that sort of thing. Banchan are an important and fun part of the Korean barbecue experience. Matter of fact, banchan are so important that many people actually judge the quality of a restaurant based on the banchan alone. Banchan is a big topic, and to brush over it in this video really wouldn't do it justice, but luckily I have a video all about that, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for guidance on the banchan front. Alright, so banchan done, let's talk sauce. The Korean word jang is used to describe a number of different fermented sauces and pastes. I want to talk about 3 jang that come into play at Korean barbecue. Those are doenjang, gochujang, and samjang. Gochujang is a spicy, sweet paste that gets its color from the Korean red pepper flakes called gochugaru. Doenjang is a rich, savory paste made from fermented soybeans, so think miso but way earthier. And lastly, we have samjang. Samjang is a baby of the two. It's a 50-50 mixture of gochujang and doenjang. It's a savory, semi-spicy paste meant to be smeared and eaten with sam, hence the name samjang. You can totally make your own samjang by mixing the 2 pastes and adding a few other simple ingredients, or you can buy it from the store in a container like this. I know, it's not really on brand to reach for the commercially made store-bought stuff, but I've been eating samjang out of this green container since I was a little kid, so it's what I like. Another sauce I like to have at Korean barbecue is a toasted sesame oil sauce thing, and it really doesn't get much simpler. Add some toasted sesame seed oil to a small dish and sprinkle in some salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Boom. This sesame oil sitch goes well with most things, but I especially like dipping my chutolbegi in it. Now for the other sauce, the booze. Alright, let's talk about the drink. We have our beer here, and we have our soju. 2 very important things at Korean barbecue. Okay, pause here for a second. If you're an American viewer and under the age of 21, go ahead and skip this part of the video. Don't get ahead of yourself, young blood. Your time will come. Korea is home to an old, developed, and beautiful drinking culture. It's one that includes tradition, respect, and fun all wrapped into one. A topic like this definitely deserves its own video, but for the sake of our mission, let's talk about the alcohol involved in Korean barbecue. Let's start with Korea's most popular drink, soju. Soju is a neutral-tasting liquor traditionally made from rice, but it can also be made from other starches like sweet potato or wheat. Soju is delicious served cold and usually taken in shot form. Soju is super smooth and has a minimal burn because it usually has an ABV of only like 20 to 25%. For scale, vodka is generally around 40 ABV, meaning soju is super easy to drink, so pace yourself there. Next, we have staple Korean beers like Cass, Height, or Obi. There are plenty of brands out there, but you can't go wrong with any one of these. These beers are very mild and crisp. For comparison, they're sort of on par with something like a Budweiser. A common thing you'll see people drink at Korean barbecue is called somek. Oh, yeah, and I see all the cool kids doing this elbow thing all the time, so, this is my attempt. Also, remember to keep the metal top from the soju bottle for drinking games. Very important. Anyways, somek can be classified as a bomb drink, meaning a shot of hard liquor is dropped into another liquid. In this case, a shot of soju is dropped into beer. Bombs away. Come back. All part of a balanced breakfast. Okay, so we covered most of the consumable stuff. Now let's go over some tools that make Korean barbecue at home possible. First, a camp stove. If you ask me, nothing beats cooking over real charcoal, but unless you have a restaurant status table with a grill dug out in the center or a Japanese Conro grill, that's not going to happen. The next best option that I found are these portable cooktops. They work great and are going to be your best friend for at-home KBBQ. If you have an induction cooktop too, you can run an extension cord to the table and use that, but I like my wire-free camp stove. And of course, some small plates to take up less space on the table for banchan, and some tongs for grilling. And of course, a good pair of kitchen scissors. At Korean barbecue, scissors are just as important as a chef's knife, believe it or not, maybe even more important. At first, this might seem funny to you, but once you use these little guys at the table, I assure you, you'll be asking yourself why you've never used them to cook with before. These scissors are a great tool for cutting meat into bite-sized chunks on the actual grill. You might sell your entire knife collection for a pair of nice scissors, but don't blame me. Another thing to keep in mind is ventilation. If you're eating inside, be sure to open a window and/or use a fan to help push out any smoke. Or just totally avoid all of it and eat outside if the weather's nice. And I prefer a heavy bottom skillet or a cast iron pan for a cooking surface. Cast iron charges with heat and holds it very well, so it's my cooktop of choice for something like this. Okay, I think that covers most of it. Let's feast. Just a little quick tip from experience, you're gonna wanna grill the marinated meat last. When you eat out at a Korean barbecue restaurant, they have people coming around to change out the grill grates so that the blackened bits aren't really an issue. But at home, unless you have a stack of cast irons at the ready, we don't have that luxury. All right, let's Sam. Sam 101, let's make one. There's no one way to make a Sam, but there is a basic formula. Wrap whichever meat in whichever vessel with whichever sauce and Banchan you do so desire. Get creative, get weird, you are the king of your Sam realm, so go to town. Then we're just gonna, fold that up nice like. Down. That was cute. Korean barbecue is my favorite way to eat, period. The communal energy, the process of cooking and sharing the food around the table, the fun drinking games and conversations had, it's just a blast every time, and I love it. I'll go first. Regardless if you're a KBBQ connoisseur or new to it all, I challenge you to throw down a Korean barbecue dinner at your own house, and I hope this video helps. This little mini-series is very special to me. Korean barbecue has been a tradition in my family since I was a wee lad, since I was a really little kid. Doing the researching, the testing, and of course the cooking for this little series was nostalgic, fun, and interesting all at the same time. All said, I want to give a shout out to my step-grandma, my stepmom, and my dad for both exposing me to Korean barbecue at a young age and funding my kalbi addiction for the past 20 years? Plus, more maybe? I don't know. I love you guys, thank you. I also want to shout out Mang Chi on this one. She is an amazing YouTuber, has a bunch of super amazing cookbooks. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't say that word enough with this woman. She's been sort of described as the Julia Childs of Korean cuisine, which is a huge compliment. If you don't know who that is, Google it. And she has been a tremendous help in my research and testing for these videos. And I really hope that this video has inspired you to bring your own version of Korean barbecue into your abodes. And if you do that, be sure to take some sweet pictures and hit me up on the gram, tag me if you do, because I'd love to see what you guys all make. And if you dug this video, please show me with your thumbs. And if for some reason you're not tired of my face, be sure to subscribe for more. I release new cooking videos every Wednesday. And as usual, I will see y'alls next week.